Hey everybody, this is Kennedy Hawk from the MCM team. We're continuing to play against the new Sinister mode of villains. Today I'll be playing Hawkeye Justice, so an old hero with some of the newer aspect cards to see how the game is spiced up against Mysterio with the recommended modular sets. So we're going to get things underway here and we'll explain the scenario as we're going since this is the first play on our YouTube channel. So Mysterio is a 2-scheme, 1-attack villain. I'm playing in standard mode, so he has 15 hit points. He has the ability Seeds of Fear. After you resolve a boost card during Mysterio's activation, place that card in your discard pile as if it has the illusion trait. So we're going to be looking for illusion-traded villainous cards. We have the Maze of Mirrors, which tells us to put a shifting apparition in play with us, and starts at 2 threat per player, pops at 8. Forced Interrupt. When you would draw or discard an encounter card from your deck, deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card, and then draw 1 card. That's interesting. So we're going to end up with encounter cards in our deck. They're not going to kill our hand, so that's a little bit nice, but it could lead to a little bit of a Surgy Vest. So we'll see how Hawkeye does with that using some of the new shield cards that we have available to us. Sorry about that. Dropped a couple cards from my deck. They are back in my hand now. One more shuffle with Hawkeye's deck, and then we'll get things underway. So Shifting Apparition has Guard. It's a 1-scheme, 1-attack, 1-health minion. When defeated, if this minion was defeated with excess damage, the defeating player shuffles the top card of the encounter deck into their deck. So we've got 6 cards in our hand. I'm going to try to put them here so we can see them. We've got Hawkeye's Bow, Expert Marksmanship, Cable Arrow, Hawkeye's Quiver, Government Liaison, and Strength. Oh my goodness. This is like... There's too much good stuff in this hand. I am not mulliganing anything. This all seems really good. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put things so that I can actually reach them without bumping into the camera. So we'll have decks, discard piles. I'm going to move Hawkeye over here to the front. And then I'll have the other things that I need to manipulate over here. So, what is we going to do? We're going to pay a Strength resource for a Government Liaison. We're going to throw Hawkeye's Bow down. We're going to use a Cable Arrow to play Hawkeye's Quiver. And do we want to flip up or do we just want to sit for a turn? He's going to get 3 threat. I think we're just going to sit for a turn. We don't need to flip. We don't need to go crazy with this deck. We're going to keep Expert Marksman in our hand. We have a lot of the pieces we want already out there, and we're drawing up to 6. So we're going to be able to get both Expert Marksmans down and have an Electric Arrow. So things are looking pretty good for next turn. First, let's see this main scheme pop. So we're getting 1 threat. Mysterio is going to scheme for 2+1, and it's an illusion card, so we're going to have to shuffle that into our... Place that card into your discard pile. Okay. So he is scheming for 3, though. It's going to put it to 6. Our little apparition will put it to 7. Ooh. And our encounter card is Caught Off Guard. So goodbye, Bow, because you can come right back in a minute. Cool. So it's our go. We are obviously going to spend a resource to go get our bow, put it into play. We're going to flip up and get things underway. So first things first, let's quiver. Looking at the top 5 cards of our deck. I see 1 arrow so far, so it's not a complete loss. And yeah, we don't really get a choice, but banking some thwarting arrows doesn't really upset me too much right now. This is a Hawkeye deck, so there's a lot of shuffling to do. One sort of unfortunate thing. Alright. I'd really like to get Helicarrier down this turn. If we do that, we're taking an attack to the face. We also need to get rid of some threat off the main scheme. So it could be a little bit tricky here. So we are going to use Government Liaison. Exhaust this, play a shield card, reduce its cost by 1 to play a Helicarrier. And we will use Vibranium Arrow and Expert Marksman to play that. You know what the heck? We'll use Vibranium Arrow and Electric Arrow. We'll use Helicarrier to play an Expert Marksman and use that to pew pew with our cable arrow for 3. Hawkeye's going to swing for 3 into this guy. If this minion was defeated with excess damage, shuffle the top card of the encounter deck into your deck. Don't really have a choice there. But things are looking pretty good here. We've got Government Liaison down, Helicarrier, Hawkeye's Bow, Quiver, and an Expert Marksman. We need one more Expert Marksman and a Sky Carrier in play, and then like our entire combo is set up, and I can show everybody and explain the combo to y'all. So we'll see if we can get to that this turn. Let's ready everything up. We've got a lot of cost reduction for shield things, so hopefully we draw into Monica or something here soon. We've got an Expert Marksman, an Explosive Arrow, Agent 13, Government Liaison, and a Chance Encounter in our hand. So let's hope we get a side scheme. 1 threat going on the main scheme. He's going to attack me for 1 plus something, and I'm just going to face tank it. It's another illusion minion, so I get hit for 2. Our encounter card is Criminal Past. We will flip down, I think, Exhaust to remove this obligation from play. That doesn't hurt me too much. And away we go. So, what are we going to do? We really need some good stuff here. Let's flip up and use our quiver, seeing what we get as options. We get Energy, Genius, Skilled Investigator, Surveillance Team, and Homeland Intervention. So nothing in our quiver. A little bit of a bummer at that. I think we're going to use Helicarrier to play another copy of Expert Marksman. We will use so I could use Government Liaison to play another Government Liaison. Or I could get an Agent 13 down on the board and she could start helping me thwart. I don't really have any shield supports that I want to ready with her yet, though. And I kind of want to Explosive Arrow to start getting some value out of my bow. I think getting an ally down is our best bet. So we're going to go ahead, get Agent 13 out there on the board. It's always goodness for us. We're going to have her thwart for 2, even though it's a little bit inefficient. She gets to ready, a shield support, but it doesn't do anything for us because it's the end of our turn. Still not the end of the world. We've got Genius, Energy. I just put those on top, but I didn't shuffle them back in from Quiver. I was going to see the same 3 cards in a row. That would not be ideal. Okay. Energy, Skilled Investigator, Electric Arrow, Homeland Intervention, and Surveillance Team are our cards for next round. But first, we have to let Mysterio punch us in the face a little bit. He's going to swing at us for 1, and we're just going to take it again. It's another illusion card, so we're taking 3 damage to face. We've got 1 encounter card coming at us, and it is another Shifting Apparition. Those guys are real nerds. Hate it. Alright. Let's go ahead and quiver 5 cards. Explosive Arrow, Global Logistics, one way or another. Global Logistics, Genius. So let's put an Explosive Arrow into our quiver. Shuffle our deck. What are we going to do? We want to get rid of this guy. We're going to get rid of him with Agent 13. But first we should play something, huh? Let's reduce the cost of a shield card by 1 and use Homeland Intervention to play a Surveillance Team. That's totally rad. We will then have Agent 13 swing in. And she'll ready... we'll use Surveillance Team, and she'll ready Surveillance Team. That way we can use it twice to get rid of 2 threat. Because she can ready a shield support when she attacks or thwarts. Alright, so we've got rid of this guy without excess damage for once. That's great. we are going to make ourselves a skilled investigator. We've got way too much good stuff going on. We're going to expert marksman an electro arrow to do 3 and a stunned. Stunned is an important thing right there. And I think that's it. I mean, we've got too much. Oh, we should swing for a base 3, right? With Hawkeye. Okay, I'm going to discard this energy. No, I'm not, because I'm probably going to draw into Nick Fury, so I should hold on to it. I never hold on to cards, but with this deck, for some reason, I do, quite often. Okay, so we're drawing 4 more cards. We've got Monica, Surveillance Team, Energy, one way or another, and Quake. We're almost through our deck. We have not seen our one of Sky Carrier, or whatever it's called. Sky Crusher. That's what I like to call it. Hopefully we do soon. 1 threat going on the main. He is stunned, and we've got a side scheme coming out. The Weakness Within. When revealed, place 1 additional threat here for each card in your hand. That's 5. That's disgusting. Thanks. And on we go. So, I think we're going to reduce the cost of a shield card and use one way or another to play a surveillance team. Then we can helicarrier with an energy to play Monica. She lets us search for a surveillance team. There it is, Sky Destroyer. That's the card we're looking for. And put it into play, and then she places 1 extra token on each surveillance team. I've got 2 on that last one, and it needs 2 more. This guy's going to go up by 1. This guy's going to go up by 1. Quake is what's in our hand, so let's shuffle our deck. We've got that 1 encounter card in there. There's a ton in our counter discard pile, though, so it's going to be real nasty on our next deck pass. But hopefully we'll have everything under control at that point. Alright, let's quiver. One way or another, Global Logistics, Mockingbird, Homeland Intervention, and Genius into nothing. Great. Thanks, quiver. We've got too much value and nothing to do with it, huh? Alright, we're going to do a base 3 attack with Hawkeye. We're going to Surveillance Team 3 threat off of this side scheme. We'll use Monica and Agent 13, and then ready one of our surveillance teams to do 3 and 1 more to get rid of that nasty side scheme. Let's make sure there's nothing in here that's not an illusion. Nope, they're all illusion cards. And I'm going to toss Quake because I really need to get to the better cards. I could Explosive Arrow, but I'm going to wait until minions are out to do that, I think, and just save things in my quiver for now. So everybody needs to take a damage over here. Everything is technically ready, even though I had Skilled Investigator. I could have drawn a card. Could have drew a Sonic Arrow. That would have been nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got a one way or another, a Global Logistics, a Homeland Intervention, a Nick Fury, and a Sonic Arrow, so that's pretty cool. And it's Mysterio's turn, so he's going to get 1 threat. He's going to attack us for 1 plus something, and we're just going to take it. It's 1 plus 0, so that is good. 1 plus 0, so we take 1. Math. Math. We get an encounter card. It is Shadows of the Past. Balls. Balls. That is going to put out Marked for Death and Crossfire. Shuffle some things in here. The good news is we now know where Mockingbird is, which is like a big deal for us. Mockingbird is a part of our combo. We still don't have our Sky Carrier, which is Omnoxio. But it's not the end of the world. Those sniper shots, on the other hand, those are the end of the world. You do not go there. You go here. Okay. That was a fun Shadows of the Past. Let's go find Mockingbird. There she be. We need 5 threat on this side scheme. I think we're going to plan to just get rid of it this turn, but we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens here in a moment. Okay. Um, it is our go. Oh wait, no. Crossfire has to quick strike us. He'll quick strike Monica because I don't mind if she comes back through my deck and restores everybody. That would be ideal, even. All right. Well, now we got a minion for explosive arrow, so that should feel good. First things first. Let's government liaison and use a sonic arrow. Sonic arrow. A global logistics. And a one way or another to play Nick Fury into play, drawing us 3 cards. Sky Destroyer, there it is. Homeland Intervention, and Genius. Well, that is friggin' genius. Because we can use a Genius and a Homeland Intervention to play Sky Destroyer. I think he can actually respond to himself after you play a shield card, exhaust Sky Destroyer, deal 2 damage to an enemy, but we're not going to because that feels a little McGee face. We will search the last, or 5 of the last cards in our deck for an arrow, and we find a Vibranium arrow, so that's good, but we now know we are definitely drawing a Fearmonger next turn. Stealth Hawkeye buff against Mysterio. You get to look at those cards when you normally don't until after they've ended up in your hand. Okay. We've got a Homeland Intervention left in our hand, and I'd like to get some stuff done here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to Homeland Intervention with 3 surveillance teams. It's going to let us remove 6 threat from this side scheme, which is going to pop Mockingbird into our hand. So we have Mockingbird and a Homeland Intervention in our hand. We don't have a way to play oh wait, no. We get Skilled Investigator too. Be a double resource. Nope. That's a global logistics. That's fine. So we did that by playing Homeland Intervention. So I have to discard that from my hand. That is a shield card, so I can Sky Destroyer 2 damage onto Crossfire. We'll finish Crossfire off with an explosive arrow. That'll also deal 3 to Mysterio. Alright, we're going to have Nick Fury thwart for 2. We have a global logistics, which we will play just to get things into our deck. We get to the top 4 cards of our deck and discard any number of them. I think what we're going to do is we're going to discard all of them and then put this one back, because now when we draw it, it'll be dealt to us. We'll reshuffle our deck with nothing else there, which seems good. That might not make a difference, actually. Okay. Is there anything else we want to do? We have our base attack of 3. I honestly don't know if we want to pop him to the next phase yet. So we'll just thwart for 1. And I actually think, even though I have Nick Fury, I don't have to flip down. We have Nick Fury and Agent 13 both take a bullet for us. We should be good to go. We're readying about 1.5 million cards over here. It's the problem with the shield deck is you need like 6 playmats to play the game. We're going to keep Mockingbird in hand. She's part of our strategy. We're going to draw this card, and then we're going to deal it to ourselves as an encounter card. Means we get another encounter card because we just decked out. We have to shuffle our deck, and we're still drawing 4 more cards. And I'm hoping that we can now get our combo going and just smooth sail into the rest of the game, but you never know with Mysterio. Alright, so we've got 2 cards in hand. We drew a Strength, another encounter card, Cable Arrow, another encounter card, and Vibranium Arrow. So we've got 4 encounter cards here, thanks to our friend Mysterio. Love it. 1 threat going out. He's going to swing at us for 1 plus something, and that's what Nick Fury is for. Nick Fury doesn't even die. How pathetic is that? And let's start resolving these encounter cards. So we deal ourselves 1 as well. We have Deja Vu. Choose to take 1 damage or place 1 threat in the main scheme, and then shuffle this into your deck. We will shuffle at the end of this, because there might be a bunch of that. Shifting Apparition. There is a thing to murder. Shifting Apparition. There is another thing to murder. Attached to Mysterio. When Mysterio would take any amount of damage, discard the top 4 cards of your deck instead. Discard this card. And Fearmonger, discard your hand and draw up to your hand size. Balls. Well, there goes Mockingbird. Gotta shuffle that card into our deck, and then we're gonna draw 5 new cards. Our whole plan was to play Mockingbird, use Sky Destroyer, thwart with Mockingbird, swing with Hawkeye, and shoot an arrow every turn. And then you can keep bouncing Mockingbird back to your hand to fuel Sky Destroyer forever and ever and ever. But the powers, the Fearmonger that Mysterio is, has not allowed such things to happen. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could have been worse. We could be dead. Nick Fury is dead, so don't let that fool you. Let's go ahead and quiver, because we want to get through our deck as fast as we can to get things back to where they belong. We're going to shuffle that in a minute. We will use Government Liaison and 1 copy of Global Logistics to play Quake. We can deal 2 to an enemy. That is going to overkill this enemy, unfortunately, so the top card of the deck gets shuffled into our deck. Bummer. Quake will eliminate the other one, again, giving us another card. But we're doing what we can. Let's see here. I think I'm going to use these 2 Expert Marksmen to play a Sonic Arrow from hand. That's going to do 3 damage and throw out a Confusion, which could be a big deal for us. Oh, no, that's not going to deal 3 damage. It's going to do a Confusion and discard the top 4 cards of our deck because of this Masterful Mirage. So let me shuffle all those cards that I promised I would shuffle back in, and we're going to discard 4 cards and probably get dealt a bunch of encounter cards. Let's put that 3 health back up before I forget, but I think we might use our base attack with Hawkeye to flip him this turn. We're in a pretty safe state currently. Okay, so top 4 cards of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get to 1 encounter card. 3 cards are discarded, and then we draw a card for that card that was discarded from the top of our deck. So we have Homeland Intervention, Global Logistics, and Explosive Arrow. Let's go ahead and exhaust a shield card we control to play Global Logistics. We look at the top 4 cards of our deck or the encounter deck. We're going to choose our deck, and we can discard any number of them. We're going to discard all of them because we are searching to get Mockingbird back. Maybe slowly, I'm not sure. We have a Homeland Intervention, so we can exhaust a support to remove 2 threats. Honestly, Hawkeye's going to swing for 3. I'm sick of this guy. I want him out of here. What happens on the next stage? 17 hit points. Start with that. When revealed, shuffle the top 2 cards of the encounter deck into each player's deck. There are a lot of encounter cards in my deck. Let it be known. A disgusting number. I'm thinking about flipping down because things are so disgusting. Well, encounter card ended on top. Yeah, I think we'll flip down. So let's ready everything up. He is confused, so we're going to soak that confuse counter and get some good things going, hopefully. Alright, Hawkster. Let's see what happens. We have a threat going on in the main scheme. He is confused. We need to draw up to our hand size really quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only ended up with 3 encounter cards. We have a Monica. That's good. Recharge all of those surveillance teams doesn't sound bad. We drew up to our hand. Mysterio did his activation, and now we have to deal with our encounter card disaster pile. So let's add 1 card. Evil Doppelganger. Doppelganger gets +X scheme and +X attack, where X is equal to the number of identity-specific cards in the engaged player's hand. Well, most of our identity-specific cards are in play. So right now that's 2. That's not so bad. I mean, it's a minion. Attached to your identity. You cannot ready allies or persona supports you control. Discard this card when you're an alter ego by discarding an ally or persona support. Okay, that's not so bad. We've got Gang Up, which is going to search, because we're in alter ego form, and to Advance, which is not going to surge. Instead, it's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3, and an additional boost card. 4, 5, 6. That is a lot of threat. Disgusting. And we have Deja Vu, which is a peril. We can take 1 damage and shuffle this into our deck, or place 1 threat in the main scheme. We're going to take a damage because we do not want that main scheme popping. And now we see, can we get 17 damage done in a turn? We can get 3 from Agent 13 and Quake. 6 if we add Hawkeye in. 6 more if we add Vibranium Arrow, so we're up to 12 right there. That does not look horrible. But it also doesn't get us there. So we'll just have to see. Okay. We're gonna flip up. We are gonna quiver really quick. Most of the top of our deck is encounter cards, and we find no arrows, unfortunately. We are definitely decking out next turn. There's like 4 encounter cards and 6 cards on the top of our deck. Let's go ahead and pay 1, 2, 3 for Monica. She's going to give each of these 1 token. Doesn't seem bad at all. We can deal 2 damage to something, so we'll do it to Mysterio. We want him out of here. We will play Homeland Intervention, exhausting 1, 2, 3 shield cards to remove 6 threat. Seems pretty good. We will pay 2 to play an Electric Arrow. It's going to deal 3 damage and a stun onto Mysterio. Just getting him within striking distance. We are not using our allies because we don't want to not be able to block with them. And they can't unexhaust until we flip to alter ego form and do some real nasty stuff. We're going to keep this one way or another in our hand, just to mitigate damage from Evil Doppelganger. And we need to draw up to 5. So we get 1, 2, 4 from our deck. We have to reshuffle. We're up to 5 encounter cards so far. NBD. But there's only 1 in our deck right now, so that should feel pretty good. Did I use my base attack? I didn't use my base attack. We're going to attack as well. You all saw me do that. It's okay. Alright. Card number 5 is Sonic Arrow. So we do still have 2 of those nasty cards in our hand. By nasty cards, I mean Hawkeye cards. You know, gross. Okay. What do we got going on here? We are getting a threat placed. We are unstunning. This guy's going to swing for 3 attack, and we'll have him swing into Quake. She can go to my discard. And we go to encounter cards to deal with a whole crud ton of encounter cards. Fearmonger. I hate that card. Surge. Discard your hand and draw that many cards. So we had, one way or another, in Chance Encounter to go find Mockingbird, but they have ruined that for us. Instead, we're drawing 5 new cards, but she might be in there, right? They're just getting us closer to Mockingbird. It's fine. Everything's fine. We have Deja Vu. We will place a threat and shuffle that into our deck. We have attached Mysterio. Spend 1 resource of any type to shuffle the top 2 cards of the encounter deck into your deck to discard this card. He has +3 attack. That's disgusting. We have another copy of Deja Vu. That is another threat on the main scheme. We have Manipulated Mind. Treat attached ally as a minion with a blank text box. Attached minion scheme is equal to its printed thwart. Blah, blah, blah. Attached to the ally you control with the lowest cost. So here you go, Monica. You are now an annoying little monster. Deepest Fears, Peril. Discard cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards in your hand. If at least one identity-specific card was discarded this way, bad things happen. Okay, so we gotta shuffle these in. And we have 5 cards in hand. We're in striking distance now, too. Feels really good. Okay, so we're discarding 5 cards. Looking for any Hawkeye cards. That's 3, 4, 5. No Hawkeye cards, so what happens? If no identity-specific cards were discarded this way, take 1 damage. Ouch. And we have an Old Grudge. Attached minion gets +1 hit point. When revealed, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for your Nemesis minion and reveal that minion. Well, that's obnoxious. I'm pretty sure he's in here. I'm pretty sure he has Quick Strike. So he's going to attack for 2 into Agent 13. She's toast. And he gets +1 hit point. Look at these disgusting minions out here. That was it. We survived. So we can Quiver just to see if we get anything cool out of Quiver. We get a Sonic Arrow and an Explosive Arrow. Blammo. Should we go out in style? We could Explosive Arrow and swing for 3. We'd have to get 3 more damage in, though. And we don't have a way to do that in our hand. So we're going to not go the dangerous route here. And we'll pay 3 for a Vibranium Arrow, which is going to deal 6. We'll swing 3 at face. And blammo. Mysterio is dead. We were pretty low on health, but the threat was pretty much under control, and we had a lot of stuff going on our board. I will lay out the deck. We'll talk about this Hawkeye Shield Justice deck, and we will move on to the next villain tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, we are back. We have our deck laid out. I thought I'd run through the deck with you really quick. The main combo is contained right here in this middle row. Our goal is to get a government liaison, our bow, and our quiver into play, and then to finally play a Sky Destroyer, and then just warp our entire game around Bobby Mockingbird. So basically what you do is you play Bobby on your turn using government liaison to make her only cost 2, so it's an effective 3 cards because her from your hand as well. When she comes into play, you trigger Sky Destroyer to deal 2 to the villain. She then removes 2 from the main scheme. You then have 2 cards left in your 5-card hand, so you can hopefully find an arrow with quiver and then play it with your bow because the most expensive arrow costs 2. Start of the next villain turn, everything readies back up. The villain attacks you. You exchange 1 card from your hand for Mockingbird to cancel the attack, so you've eliminated all the attacks, and hopefully your damage and thwarting from Mockingbird plus your arrow is enough to offset the 1 encounter card you get a turn. Now that gets a little bit hairier when you're getting a million encounter cards a turn from Mysterio, but it works really well against villains that don't go off on crazy surge trains like that. The rest of the deck is pretty simple. We've got Monica and 3 copies of Surveillance Team. A lot of times I burn these down to 1, and then I use them with Homeland Intervention, which is exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control to choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each shield card exhausted, so you can have like a 0-cost 6th thwart card in your hand that gets around Confuse. It's a bonkers card. We've got government liaisons to help make those cheaper, and obviously Monica brings them into play. We've got a helicarrier that's shield traded just because we need to get some ramp to get this going. You can't combine government liaison and helicarrier, but helicarrier is still good for playing arrows and stuff like that. We've got 3 copies of Global Logistics. I know they took away the ability to know what's on the top of your deck with the quiver, so now you can use Global Logistics in its place. It works pretty well. It also helps you if you are looking for a very specific arrow. Maybe you need to flip down and you don't have a Sonic Arrow. You don't want to risk your quiver because the top 5 cards might not contain that Sonic Arrow. So instead, you can Global Logistics first, look at those 4 cards, see if there's a Sonic Arrow. If there's not, you're allowed to discard them or discard any of those cards, put the others on top or bottom of that deck in any order. So you could put all those cards in the bottom of your deck, getting you 4 cards closer to seeing that Sonic Arrow with Quiver. So with Global Logistics and Quiver, you're able to effectively search 9 cards in your deck for an arrow, which is really, really cool. We've got just a suite of shield allies. So we've got Nick Fury, Agent 13, Quake, and Spider-Man. Agent 13, honestly, doesn't do as much in this deck as I would like. I would replace her with Coulson, probably. I mean, she can ready government liaisons and Helicarrier, which never hurts, or a surveillance team. Honestly, most of the time, she just readies Sky Destroyer, and then when I play a second shield card using one of these 0-cost events, we get a little bit extra damage out of her. We've got our arrows, and obviously part of this revolves around finding Mockingbird. So it's almost good when you draw Shadows of the Past, because then you know where she is. And then once that is in the encounter deck, you can use things like One Way or Another to pull that side scheme up so that you can keep bringing Mockingbird into your hand in case you somehow lost her. Or if any side schemes are in play, I have 1 copy of Chance Encounter, so you can throw that in the side scheme, thwart it away with a Cable Arrow, go fish up Mockingbird, and get your combo rattling. The worst thing about this combo is you kind of want Quiver and Sky Destroyer, and they're both unique cards that are one of in your deck. In that last game, Sky Destroyer was like one of the last cards in our deck every time we shuffled, it seemed like. Quiver we got pretty quick, which was nice, but Global Logistics can definitely help you get to those cards faster, so definitely use that to find the right cards and find the combo pieces as fast as you can. And really just try out this deck. There's a lot of awesome shield decks out there, and I think at first I was a little disappointed because I felt like it didn't work super well with Mockingbird. But after I get this combo going, I really started to like it, and then once I realized Global Logistics worked really well with Quiver, I was pretty satisfied with how these shield cards work with Hawkeye. So check out this deck. Make sure you play some of the older heroes and give them some love with the newer aspect cards, and let me know who your favorite hero is to play with the shield package in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.